Ooh,
Let's see how that goes.
make sure. And 9, 10.
All right, here we go, guys. Okay, so now I am going to post the invite link into.
You gotta
Go
wait for
ahead.
people. You gotta wait for people to come in now.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
There's we got the
So
Merry Christmas, by the way.
Merry Christmas, guys. All right, I'm gonna post the link and pin it to the top. And you guys are going to be able to come into the Zoom link. And what I'm asking you guys to do, and just one time, if you're a member, you can jump on and hang out. You know, if you're not a member, still jump on and hang out. But what I really want to extract from this call is why you got into growing. It's normally my first question I ask all of my VIP clients, because I always try to stay remembered or try to stay attached to that point. And I just would love to know why you guys got interested in growing. Maybe you could make a suggestion for the channel. I have a lot of those on the comments, so it's difficult to get to those already. But I'd love to know about you. Like, why did you get started? What are some of your core values? What matters to you? Something more significant. If you guys want to jump on, the Zoom link is at the top. You're going to have to download the link. And let's see how this goes. So it's live to the entire channel. The first time we went live, it was like 30, 40 people. Now it's like 9. So I think everyone took off. If no one comes on, then I'll jump off. I'm going to go for a hike today, keep my mind busy. Vermonster grows. I always see you on, brother. Jump on the live link. Say what's up. Tell me why you got started in growing. Patrick.
Everyone always wants to come on and share opinions. Now they're going to be shy.
Come on.
I can give my experiences why I started.
Yes, growing. Please, David. You matter too. Why did you start growing?
I mean, you probably know why. But,
no, please. We never.
I mean, for me, it really stems back to my childhood and being around vegetable gardens. Excuse me, my whole life, and as I grew older, realizing the values of the fruits and vegetables that I was eating compared to what's commercially available. And it just kept going at different levels in my life. It just kept expanding. The medical plants, that's, started at a young age with friends and such. And it just always fascinated me. There was always a level of connection that even to this day, I can't necessarily explain. But for me to continue to growing, it's the continued knowledge and passing them down to my children. That's really important. Understanding, getting their hands dirty, the soil, the microbes, and most importantly, what they're consuming. And, we live in a fast-paced world. It's hard. We don't always make time to consume food properly. Fast food, temptations, sugars are, everywhere. So when you're connected to a garden, you kind of think differently. And I see that in my children already. So I'm hoping they continue that into their adulthood as well.
Pastime. I think that's a really great point. Same with me. It's sad to say I'm a flat earther now, so possibly the story of the Indians and the Pilgrims might not be true, but that's how I got started. My father took me out to the garden, and he was like, "This is how the Indians did it. We put the corn in, and you did this." And part of the brainwashing starts happening already, but still, the garden stayed with me the whole time. And it's funny for me. I got started in gardening, and then I got super aggressive, went to the military and did a whole bunch of other shit, got into the black market stuff, but came back to the gardening, and it's just really interesting. Mike, there you go, brother. What it got you interested in gardening? And I'm hoping, and guys, listen, there is a Zoom link in the live description right there. You just gotta click the Zoom link in the live description. I pinned it at the top, and if you want to come on and tell me why you got interested in going. Again, if it's just me, Dave, and Mike, I'm gonna jump off and go do something, because I don't want to take them away from their kids, but I want to hear from the members, or not even from members, the people that are not members.
The
Mike,
community.
the community. That's a good word. Mike, what got you interested in going, brother? Smoking, I saw that. Oh, you're on mute.
Good morning, guys. Merry Christmas to you all. Everybody.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
We're doing our first live together. This is pretty cool this morning. I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah, I woke up and I was just like, fucking.
I would have put on my fucking Christmas pajamas, but I'm alone in the house. So, the cat don't care what I'm wearing.
What got you interested in growing, Mike? So, like, what was that origin story? Or the plant? What got you interested in the plant originally? Any of those?
A heartbreak.
A heartbreak.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Interesting. Patrick. We're bringing on Patrick, but keep going, Mike.
Okay, so what got me in with these plants? I hooked up this beautiful girl. I was, I don't know, 18, I think. And she dumped me because I was 18. And I went to Jamaica and I started off on this journey with this plant. And that's how I got interested and involved with this plant, actually.
So real quick, and give me some more details. And Patrick, you're right there. Give me a second. We're finished. We're going to extracting the origin story from Mike, and then we're going to jump over to you, brothers. Is that okay? Patrick, you there? What up, Patrick? How you doing? Can you hear me?
Hey, who's there? Hey, Patrick, what's up, bro?
Morning.
Good morning.
Happy Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
So I'm gonna finish up with Mike, and then I'm gonna jump over to you and figure out what got you interested in growing. So Mike, what happened with the girl in Jamaica? She broke your heart because she younger or older?
No, she was one of the owner's daughter's friends, and she would hang out by the stables, and she was hot. And then she lived with a guy who had a nicer car, and I ended up getting all heartbroken and all distraught. Ended up going to Jamaica and started my 5-year journey.
That's amazing. Yeah. Patrick, how about you? What got you connected with the plant?
Oh, hold on, I lost you.
Okay. It might be funny. You're going to go to a Zoom area, and it's different from the YouTube link. So I can still hear you, and we can still see you, even though you might have lost the screen.
Yeah, I lost on my Zoom, but man, I've been growing heirloom tomatoes for about 20 years, vegetables outside. I like to cook a lot. And I grew up in Berkeley, California, so cannabis was always around me. I used it just for medical reasons, mainly. And then how I stumbled into growing is a lot of my friends used to just give it to me, and they moved. And so rather than pay the $200-300 an ounce, I tried to grow this last outdoor season and failed miserably. Root rot, bud rot, bugs, just you name it, it got me. So what I did was I bought a tent, bought a AC Infinity fan control, and just started an indoor autoflower run. And I just chopped my first one down 2 weeks ago, and probably will chop the other 2 today to hang and dry. And I popped 4 seeds into the ground 3 days ago, and all 3 out of the 4 popped today. One has helmet head though, and I'm not sure how to deal with that. And that's kind of my little story.
I love that, man. I really appreciate you telling me that. It's kind of interesting. You switch from one crop to another, and there's still a little bit of a learning curve, right?
Big time. So I didn't have any understanding of what actually a marijuana plant needed. So I grew it kind of like a neglected tomato, where I just threw it in a pot, gave it some water, didn't really feed it, and didn't really understand what it really needed. I'm used to growing 75% organically outdoors. So, I mean, a lot of the slow release fertilizers and stuff like that. And I live in the Sacramento Valley now, and it's real easy to grow vegetables here. But with my marijuana plant, I just neglected it. It dried out. It came back. Never fed it. And then when it started to get sick, I started to look into, well, what do I need to do to take care of it? And so really for me, 3 months of a deep dive, looking at as much content as I can on YouTube, reading as much material as I can, and just understanding the fundamentals. It's like going back to high school chemistry again.
Patrick, go ahead, Mike. And
So,
Patrick,
so
I'm gonna
tell me,
go ahead.
Patrick, when you started running into trouble, is that how you stumbled across our community at Perfect Gardens? Were you looking for help, or what was the story?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I started to go into the community to, hey, what's going on with this plant? Why am I having so many issues? I mean, I did so many things wrong. I mean, it was 110 degrees here. I didn't shade them. I'd get up early in the morning and give them refrigerated water. I mean, I did a lot of dumb stuff, just thinking, oh, this
Learning
plant
curve.
this plant can
Learning
handle
curve.
anything.
It's not dumb stuff. It's just like stuff is you don't know, but you learned the lesson. It's the same way with me when
Oh
I
yeah,
started.
absolutely.
You learn to recognize when the plants are missing water. It's the first thing you learn about, and then you evolve when you're going down. But
Patrick, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go and bring on the next member, but I really appreciate you coming onto the channel. Tell me where you're going. It allows me to put a name to the face when I see you on the channel, and just you probably have different code names. Just say, hey, this is Patrick, and it allows me to just get to know you more. So I
Right on,
appreciate
man.
it, brother.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and let push you out, and then team load. Loud, sorry about that. Tell me what you got into you in growing, or to introduce yourself and tell me what got you on the channel and all that, please. And let me unmute you. All right, you have to unmute yourself. I apologize.
you have to press on the button. There you go.
Hey team, how's everything going, brother?
I'm gonna go ahead and push it out, and then team load. Loud, sorry for that.
No problem. What started me with growing was subpar.
You have to lower your volume in the background. I apologize.
My name is Kush. I'm a 25-year-plus grower. And what started me with growing?
You have to unmute yourself. I apologize.
Press on the button. There you go.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. I got you now. It's the feedback from
Can you hear me now?
You have to turn up the volume on your Zoom, but turn down the volume on your YouTube.
I'm getting echo. I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Okay.
we can.
Okay, that's good. What started me from growing is subpar marijuana. I was traveling across the United States as a teenager. I used to get good weed in the South and always come back to the Midwest and be like, wait a minute, these guys are smoking different weed or something. So I took a couple of seeds I got from the South, which was over 25 years ago, and started a micro grow. 2 weeks later, my mom found it, killed it. She didn't kill my passion, though. So ever since then, I was trying. That even before I even knew about flowering. I was smoking straight leaves, getting higher than the street weed with no THC. I was like, man, something's not right. So like 10 years ago, I first, just looked up on flowering through Mother Nature, because I was just growing 24-hour, light cycle. Didn't know about light cycles or anything, but was, growing nice plants. So when I first came with the bud cycle, I tried outside. That's when I learned about caterpillars, mold, ants, just everything Mother Nature had. Wind, rain. I thought I could be, beat Mother Nature. When I learned that was a never-ending battle, I moved back to indoors. So when I moved to indoors, the only thing I really just had a problem with was, constant temperature in my grow room. So I decided to dedicate a closet to it And once I dedicated a closet to it, everything went out the window. You know, with Mother Nature, no mold. Well, as long as I left airflow, I never did have a problem with mold. I didn't have mites because I never did bring any foreign plants in. You know, so I've been growing the same strand now for about good since 2018. I'm kind of brain fog now, you know, because it's Christmas. I'm on Christmas trees, but you know. I like you guys' channel. You know, it's more growers than you know. You know, by being illegal in the United States, a lot of people are, you know, like we moles in a hole. We're not going to just put our face up there. You know, I'm taking a big risk by doing this, but you know, I feel the vibe of you guys, and you know, it's all cool. But you know, you guys are giving people, you know, something to look forward to. Like your shows, like you could do more shows. Like the information that you guys, if you're not a grower, the information that you guys give out will look like a bunch of hogwash to, you know, the average person. But if you're really a grower and been through it more than once, you guys giving out some useful information. And everybody's not going to get a perfect grow or the internet buzz every time. Some of the best weed I ever smoked looked like pure crap. So, you know, just don't give up the hope and keep growing. And think of it this way. The more you grow, the less you buy.
Bro, I love what you just said right there. The more you grow, the less you buy. That's super fucking powerful, man. And I love your story. So your mom found it. She whooped your ass? What was that? Or she just killed your plants?
Whooped my ass, killed my plants, talking about how the police gonna come take her house and everything from one fucking plant. You know how the stigmata.
I know. My mom whooped my ass.
Yeah, it was crazy, man.
That day went south for you, eh?
Yeah, right. That was more like gasoline to the engine.
The funny thing is now my mom has only smoked with me and my dad though, and I'm saying it live on YouTube, but she was like, "Don't tell anyone." She's the only. She whipped my ass, but later I'm the only one she smokes with, so it's fun. That's pretty cool. Yeah, guys, hang out with us for a few minutes until we get another person on the channel, and if you're okay with that, is it what's your, I don't want to say your first name, Team Loud, is that correct?
Yes, Team Loud, pronounced Team Loud, but you know I'm under King Kush under my
oh, okay, King Kush. Hey bro, how's it going, man? We always good, talk man. All the time. Yeah. Guys, please jump on the YouTube, tell me just one at a time, just jump on. I want to know you guys more. I see you guys post, I see you guys comment, I recognize certain names, and I'm just, so jump on. What got you interested in growing? One at a time. If it gets slow, then I'll jump off because I'm not going to take you guys away. But if you're here on the chat, just go to the Zoom link at the top. I will post it again right here. And just tell me what happened, or tell me what's got interesting in growing. So for right now, King Kush, brother, what could we do different on the channel? I mean, while we're hanging out, what could we do for you for next year?
Well, what could you do is like
for you personally, because you're on this channel.
We're here for you.
Absolutely, you got on the video, you took a chance. So what can we do for you specifically so I can keep it in mind for the next year?
Start some kind of like underground seed swap or something, because you know you can send seeds legally as long as they're not germinated. Start some kind of seed swap, because these seed banks are selling you fucking hemp seeds, and a lot of people like in the state I'm in, what they're doing is going to buy CBD flower and spraying terpenes on it and talking about it's the exotic, you know, selling the shit for $400 an ounce, you know, crazy prices. And, you know, I think if people get a good strand, you know, that's not too finicky to start growing, it'd be more growers. So some kind of seed trade or something, that'd be good to get some good strands out there. There's not all these CBD cross hybrids, the good, nice, big, pretty flowers with no fire to it, you know. You know, okay. I know everybody's not for THC, but you know, the people that are for THC,
you're looking for the big boy stuff, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, if I was able to reach out to a reliable seed bank or a reliable seed supplier that we had already vented and either purchase or ask them to give us a few thousand seeds, and then we give them away in donations, give them away to you guys, that's what you're asking for, something like that in general too.
Yeah, and we can have a straight grow out. with members, you know, like, so we all can be on the same
we're working on
page.
that one. We're
Yeah,
working
We
we're
on
all
that
can
working
be
one.
on
on
the
that one
same
'cause
page.
you
Yeah.
got to understand the position we're in, because behind Perfect Gardens, our integrity is everything, right? So we can't promote some seed company in the next 6 months. The guy's selling fucking no name seeds, and
Yeah,
we're up,
because you put them out there.
'cause
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
so we got to be sure. We got to check, double check, blind check, and then we may talk about it. But that's the way we roll here, So,
That's
but
Mhm.
I love the idea of sharing different strains with other people. I was
Yeah.
thinking of some of my cold climate strains out to some friends in California to see how it is growing here in Canada and how it would grow coast to coast, the same strain. But yeah,
Because
I
I,
hear you.
I still have seeds from the 90s. That I
Hey,
never get.
seeds are important, guys. They're so important. Keep them for years. You never know when you're not going to have something. You're just going to want to pop something.
King
And then
Kush,
one you pop.
I'm doing
Sorry.
my first autoflowers ever in 30 years of growing. And the seeds that I'm popped were from Dutch Passion, and they were packaged at 91.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's probably a gem
91.
there.
91, yeah.
Holy
Says
shit.
right on the fucking box. January 91.
I never ran autos. I just been straight photo period. You know, I've been like when I first came out, autos was, the finicky, low THC, grow pretty plants. But now since the hybridization, they came pretty high THC because a lot of the fire strands are straight autoflowers. And then I was wondering why they just don't, try to breed them back to photo period for some reason. Like some of the good strands that, the high THC autoflowers they have out.
It's funny. They were when the autoflowers started popping up the last 10 years. They started crossing them with the photos to make them better, to increase the THC. And then now you're like, let's get back over the photos. King Kush, man, I appreciate you coming on. Seriously, Ghost just jumped on. I want to give him some ton of love and care. But I'm going to keep what we talked about in mind this year.
All right, thanks,
Thank
man.
you.
All right, keep it up, man.
Hey,
You
Merry
too, brother.
Christmas, bro.
All right, same you guys.
A Merry Christmas, brother. Ghost, come on, brother.
Hey guys, how we doing? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. How you doing, guy?
Merry Christmas.
Good. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
So what you got? Tell me the origin story, because these are all black market stories. I love them, believe it or not. I love it. Tell me with the origin story.
I mean, it's kind of the general story, really, man. I mean, the shop's prices are just ridiculous. They just started letting us grow here in Illinois, probably a year now. So just kind of jumped in, man. Did some research and set up a tent, found you guys, and it's been a blessing.
So it's been working out. Like, you feel like some of the information you've been providing has been helpful through your process.
You bet. Yeah,
Cool.
I run hydro, so I mean it's a lot different than what you guys are doing on most of you, I'd imagine. But it definitely has crossed.
We can bring more hydro stuff on the channel next year. Is that something what we could do for you?
Oh, I would greatly appreciate it, man.
Okay. What system do you run, or what systems do you plan to run next year?
It's a recirculating deep water culture.
Okay, cool.
So it's very similar to like a current culture.
Okay. And it's very easy to actually grow microbiology and hydroponics. And it just takes a little bit of thoughtfulness as you're applying the microbes. And I always tell people, there's tons of microbes in your aquaponic system. Why can't it be in your hydroponic system? So, yeah, I'll make sure. Do you grow only synthetic, or do you? Obviously, what line do you use in the liquid hydroponic line?
It's actually Current Culture's nutrient line that I'm using.
Okay.
So they make an undercurrent system. Let me grab a jug here. Let's see. They're designed for deep water culture, so that's kind of why I went with them. Yeah, Current Culture. Yeah.
Are you using a 5-gallon jug?
Cultured solution
and an air stone?
Yeah. So I'm using it's an easy store pot, 8 gallons, and I've got a few air stones in each site there. And then they're all connected with 3-inch PVC. And then I have a control bucket outside the tent, which I monitor ppm, pH, all that. And then it goes.
Is that where you
Go
store
ahead.
your circulating pumps? Is that your reservoir? Is that's
Yeah,
a
that's
control
pretty much
station?
my reservoir. You bet.
Yeah.
So then it pumps from that reservoir outside the tent through a chiller and then back to each site.
Your water temperature is absolutely everything in the hydroponic system.
You bet.
Absolutely everything. It's
So what is the ideal temperature? Like somebody in Canada like me, where I am, would I have to heat the water or cold, or how would that work?
Between 68, 69, 70 degrees. Current culture actually recommends you start a little warmer in the early stages and then bring that temperature down.
And they're saying when mixing the nutrients and then bring it back down after that, right?
I'm not sure about that.
We're going to dive into this too, because there's actually this one gentleman I want to bring on the channel that had a really interesting philosophy and thought process around hydroponics. He's a big ag grower, and they're actually the two biggest things I would say would be add microbiology to initially to your root system. And you could do it by literally just making a tea and then applying it to your root system occasionally, and your water temperature. One of the best growers, and I talk about all the time, Pete Brown, and you see I always show the picture of his indoor grow facility he built out in Cleveland. He's building out like a 68 or 70 acre grow. It's like, I think they just got permitted for the largest outdoor grow in California. My point to us is that his grow, we were never able to really fine tune it and lock it into place until we moved the reservoir outside of his main grow room and into the coldest spot in the location, to the point where, it was outside, it was like literally in the ground, and my point to this is that I would definitely like to bring on and do a more extensive research around water temperature for that's ideal for recirculating systems for hydroponics, and talking more about it this year. So I'm going to do that for you this year. I give you my word. We can do that.
Wow, that's amazing. I greatly appreciate that. And how I got to find you guys is there's a lot of people out there, doing these videos and stuff. And I kind of search for somebody that you can kind of tell they have a knowledge. They're not just bro science, I guess, is what a lot of guys call it, So I greatly appreciate anything you guys do over here. You're breaking ground. So greatly appreciate it.
I appreciate it, brother. Guy, would you like to hang out with us for a little bit until we get another guy on the video? And you don't have to. You can get back to your family today too. You want to hang out for a little bit?
Yeah, I got a little time.
All right, guys. Also, please jump on the video Zoom. If it slows down, we're going to jump off. But I just want to get to know you guys more. What's your Ghost Grow? Is that your ID on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, you subbed up to my channel.
And I've seen it before a few times. I think I've commented back a couple of times, but it's just, again, when I'm actually able to get to know you a little bit more and be like, okay, Ghost grows. I'm going to look for it. I'm going to look for your questions more, and I'm going to be able to give you more time.
You bet. So. You've definitely gave me some good answers. Like I think I asked about Mammoth P and a few other things. I'm starting to implement the Mammoth P now to see if that's going to work with what I'm doing here. Yeah,
it wasn't until earlier with Av. We've had him on the channel. Actually, we have an amazing VPD video coming out with him soon. But he really turned me on to the Mammoth, and we've always been talking about bacteria and stuff, but he was like, and multiple people were like, the issue isn't that we're not giving enough phosphorus, it's just that it's not available. And he was like, you need to lean more into that before you try to adjust it. And I was like, you know what, let's do that, because that does make a lot more sense. So I'd love to know your any feedback this year as you're applying it. Like, hey Mark, blah blah, whatever's going on.
Yeah, you bet. I'll definitely do that for you. Because I'm gonna kind of track it. I did have a pretty successful grow, my last grow, just running the current culture nutrients. Not necessarily how they recommend. I'd cut down,
You gotta adjust all the time.
Yeah.
I would recommend, like, I'm not sure how you're doing it, but like when I was talking about brewing up a tea, I don't know how many plants you have on a deep water culture.
We're only allowed 5 in Illinois, so I'm running a 5 site and a 5x10 with 8-gallon pots.
Okay,
Nice.
so you every once in a while, grab your main nutrient line, your mammoth P, whatever bacteria and fungi, brew it up, right? And then when you make that 1 gallon, because you only need a small amount, a half a gallon, you don't need to use a large amount of stuff. And then just get a cup of that and just pour it into your root systems, like right where your stem is. And what's really interesting around this is that a lot of these bacteria will get taken up by the plant. When they get taken up by the plant, they become part of the plant. And as long as you don't jack up your parts per million above 1100 parts per million and give it time, this is the key. Even if you did this like I don't know, you brew up a tea every 3 days for the first 2 weeks, and you just gave it and at the end of 24 hours when it's really brewing, you just give a cup to each of the root system. And right when the bacteria becomes part of the plant will keep producing more bacterias, right? So once it becomes a host with it, you now have a recirculating system where the root system will release bacteria and food back into your recirculating system and take it back in. So I guess do you hear my point, right? It's like, if you can try to get that culture established initially, and that also starts when you're growing your seed and also when it's popping. So I recommend I probably wouldn't use the hydroton either. They use these expanded peat moss material. It's not peat moss, it's the other ones. It's like root riots, but there's different brands of them.
Okay.
I like those personally because they break apart, and I feel like they have it's a better growing media for bacteria and fungi than the rock wool.
Sure.
And so if you start your bacteria system with your seed in that, because you want to go from a soilless system and keep in a soilless system, you could by that point, when you transplant it into your hydroponic system, your deep water culture, your bacteria should have already taken hosts into your plant. So you just keep establishing the bacteria for the first couple of weeks, and as long as you don't jack up your parts per million too high, you should. And I got to look at that nutrient line, because there might be one better for bacteria and fungi in deep water culture. If you did that, I think you're going to have, I'm saying you keep parts per million lower, give it time to establish, start working together, and keep control of your water temperature. I think if we just worked on that this year and created some more custom videos around that, I think it could help out a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely get what you're saying. Kind of inoculate the root zone every so often just to keep those going. I understand completely. That makes total sense.
Exactly. Especially when you see, you might check your parts per million, and if it starts going above 1500, just realize, okay, my bacteria and fungi probably went dormant. Not all of them, because some of them can exist in a higher parts per million environment, but which ones went to sleep, right? And think about it, and I would think about it yourself. If it went to sleep, what type of, do you wake up and feel great and you're ready for a workout? I love that. That's how I am in the morning. I'm like, oh, let's go do something. It's the opposite, I think. But other people aren't. Other people are like, leave me the fuck alone. Don't talk to me. I'm tired. I already got a headache. You don't want to make love to me right now. Don't touch me.
Where's the coffee?
Where's the coffee? Exactly. So it's think about with those microbes too, right? And where they're going to have to go back into a certain pH environment, so on. So Ghost, you want to go and say anything else? We got another person as well, and I appreciate you talking to us for a little bit more. So it creates a permanent memory in my brain.
Well, hey, I just want to say thank you guys for everything you do, and I'll be out here, man, rooting for you. So I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, brother.
Support, guys.
Merry Christmas. I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna get back on the video there.
All right,
Merry
cool. I
Christmas.
love you. Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
Bagger is coming on in a few seconds right now.
Connecting
Mike,
to-
sorry. Will you ask the question to Bagger, please? And ask him why he got started in growing.
Sure, why not?
Appreciate you.
Hey, Bagger. Can you hear it? Are you there yet?
His audio is connecting right now. And
I'll try
guys,
not
and remind people about the Zoom link in the description so that they can sign on.
Hey, come and say hi, guys. We don't get often a chance to meet you guys personally. We're always behind the screen, but now we can touch one-on-one, and it's real cool. So we're still waiting for Badger's audio to connect for some reason.
No problem. Sometimes it takes a second. So yeah, I thought about you this morning too. I was like, oh, Dave, he's all his peeps are locked up together, so he's all going to be all by himself.
Hey, I'm getting used to it, I'm starting to feel good. Like everybody delivers food, come by. One thing though is that I was kind of pissy is I sent some Christmas gifts over to my daughter's place, and my asshole son-in-law wouldn't let him have them because I thought, because I bought them, they would have COVID, right? Idiot.
Well,
maybe somebody explains what Amazon does in life. You know what I mean?
I thought you get it from drinking beer.
Hey,
I thought you get the cove from drinking beer.
No, I don't drink beer, bro. I don't take alcohol.
Oh,
not at all.
The Corona. I thought that's how you got it.
No, I got it another way.
That was.
I was sharing biology. And ended up with the new culture. You know what I'm saying? But
I think Banger's on. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Banger, how's it going, guy? Can you hear me, Banger? Hello. Well, guys, we're having technical difficulties. This is YouTube. Technology works great when it works. You have to unmute. I don't know if you muted or not. I don't see you muted. I see you. I just don't hear you.
And Banger, it's probably, there might be a good chance that Banger, I love your name. I'm sorry. It's just, I'm so immature. I'm so fucking immature. I just lost more women viewership that way. I'm so fucking immature.
You hear me?
Hey, Banger.
We got you, bro.
It was my headphones.
Was it?
It was my headphones. I've been worried. I've been wondering about my my name because it's coming from sausage. Bangers is a Irish style sausage.
Yeah, I know what a banger is. Okay. Listen, I'm Canadian bacon, so we're not that far off.
Yeah.
So listen, tell me, what brought you? What was your first connection with this plant? What was your first experience?
Well, I guess I was about I don't know, 14 years old or something.
Okay.
So 30 something years ago. Babe, can you take care of that? But I just started growing recently, and I found this channel, and you guys put out a lot of great information, and I love the community.
Right. Yeah, it's fun. You can always reach out to somebody. There's a whole range of guys in our army of growers, where you can get somebody that's really technical, and then you get an instinct guy like me, and then you get everything in between. So we're pretty lucky to be all together.
Yep. I'm happy to be here.
So what are you growing exactly? How many plants and what's going on in your yard?
Well, this is my this is my second grow or my second 0.5 grow. The first grow was 2 plants that turned out to be males, so I called those. And I was growing that with bottled newts, and in the process of learning, I transitioned over to organics, and I'm moving towards living soil.
Cool.
So currently I've got 3 plants, but I'm going to be growing in larger containers and doing a little bit better next grow.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go right ahead, Mark. Go on. Go.
Well, I just one thing I want to mention, and Johnny, you're in the waiting room right there. I'm going to keep you there for a second. Don't take off. I just I'll bring you on, but just go ahead and I'm going to keep you unmuted. I want everyone to know, like, hydroponics I think is incredibly important, but it's limited on it's limited on a lot of stuff. So if you are interested in hydroponics and stuff, I just don't think this plant will ever truly perform to the best of its ability in hydroponics. Lettuce, a few other ones do really well. It's efficient, but for commercially grown, it's other stuff. So please keep going, Mike. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought in that small moment.
Well, no. You got my ears up now, bro. Are you saying that because you think of the terpene counts or the production level? Hey, Johnny, how you
production
doing, bro?
level? Production level.
Yeah,
yeah. Hey, brother. Banger, keep going. Sorry.
No, Banger. I think is Banger still there?
Yes, sir.
I'm still here. I'm eating breakfast, so I'll just let you guys talk.
No, you guys, hang out with us until we. Johnny's a member, so he's just gonna hang out too, and also talk.
I'm not going anywhere, Mark. I'm just
okay.
listen.
What are you eating?
Waffles.
Waffles, eh?
Waffles.
So you have a wife that's making for you? I'm in the doghouse.
Yeah. Don't mute it. We're cool. You can eat. You can eat okay. while you're eating. It's no big deal. Yeah. So what's strange? Okay, so let's go back to your growing. What can we do for you this year? I mean, you're giving us this extra attention right now, and what can we do for you, man, this upcoming year?
Honestly, you've already done what I hope to get out of this. You've put together a community where I can bounce questions off people and kind of pick your brains and learn how to grow this plant. So I don't really have any more requests than that.
Okay, so all right. Well, I appreciate that.
So,
yeah.
Banger, so do you enjoy the telemark, the morning talks and what's going on, the daily stuff that we got going on in there? You know,
sure.
The day-to-day. You know, it's not always, you know, sometimes we're mostly about growing. We're mostly about growing, but we also move over to a lot of subjects too, right?
Right, for sure.
Somebody sees it on Amazon, it's on there in the morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. No, it's okay. Johnny, jump on. Tell and Banger, stay on until we get another person, please. But Johnny, jump on, please. Tell us what got you into growing, and please, there is a link in the description pinned. Please just jump on if you want, and just tell us why you got interested in growing. But Johnny, tell us. Yeah, hang out. Tell me what got you started, brother.
Well, it was about 30 years ago. Started smoking, probably more than that. Now I think about it. But here in Virginia, it just got legal to start growing. So did my thing and went and got all the materials to be able to start doing it. And first run wasn't as good as the last two, but I did first run in photos, and it was it was good, but it wasn't the best. But I've done a couple runs of some autos here lately, and they turned out a lot better. But then I jumped back to photos now because the autos, I couldn't get the hang of I messed up, and they got stunted, and you could tell they were like, oh, there it goes. The temperature wasn't right for a couple of days, and now they're doing bad because it's too cold, and now you can tell they stopped growing, and it
Are you
was
growing outside? Are you indoors?
indoors. But like I have my tent, and I have a 10 by 16 shed in my backyard, and I have a 4x8 tent in my shed. And
that's why it's not heated or anything. That's why there's a temperature flux, right?
No, I've got a heater in there now. But at the time I didn't. It was like the temperature changed, the weather, from fall to winter, and I didn't jump in there fast enough, and it just seemed like it was doing fine with the light, and then it got really cold, and then so then I had to put a heater in there, and then they came back and they did good. When I harvested them, they were it was real good weed, but it just wasn't. They just didn't get the full potential that they could have.
Hey, Johnny, I'm going to pause you for a second just because you're a member. I'm going to iPhone. Are you a member or are you a new person?
No, I'm new.
Okay, please. I'm sorry, Johnny. Please,
no problem, man. I was just
yourself.
Man.
No, stay there. Stay there. I want to keep going. Coming back to you.
I'm not going nowhere.
Okay, cool.
I'm hanging out.
Introduce yourself. Tell us what got you started growing.
Wow. I started years ago, and when I first started, we were using metal highlights and stuff, and it was exactly when they started using electric ballasts. So when we first started converting to electric ballast, we plugged it in, and we had issues with the Wi-Fi, so we stopped, and that had to have been probably like 10 years ago.
So you're using the big? We're using the big heavy white ones, or we're using the hotheads?
No, the big white ones, like we had 1,000 watts.
The switchables. The switchables.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice. I'm just trying to gauge you at what year you came in on the industry.
I missed that, Mark. What stage is he in?
Well, I would say he probably got in between 2006 to 2010. I could be wrong.
Yep, exactly. Because I'm 34 now, believe it or not. I'm not even that old.
That's
I remember
you can tell how long somebody's been growing by what ballast and what generation of ballast he's using. That's how long we've been around, Knock off the goddamn dust.
I had light movers that were on chain and wheel. my light movers, they were like chain and axle.
Did a mouse run that?
But now now I have the Lux, the 645 watt. Yeah. And I have 2 Mars, and I have 3 Mars, and I forget. 3 Mars and 2 of the Spider Farmers.
And Banger, if you got a witty, funny, kind comment, throw it out, man. You're part of the conversation until you want to jump off. Keep going, iPhone, please. What's your call sign? So I just know so I can look for you more.
I'm sorry. My what?
Your YouTube ID, so I can look for you more.
Well, it's like under my Gmail, I believe, right now. I don't. Okay. Yeah, I don't post any videos or anything.
Well, no problem. If you ever post on the comments, just say, "Hey, this was iPhone," so I can pay attention to you more. So the question is also, what got you interested in going, and then what can we do for you this upcoming year?
Well, what got me interested in growing was obviously the area I'm at, where nothing's fresh, nothing's great, nothing you can trust. So I had to go about my own way and sourcing it myself. that's how I got into growing, and that was way years ago. But now that I have the funds, I have the time, the space, I got back into it probably about a year and a half ago. Got back into it, and when I first got back into it, I started with the arrow garden.
The arrow garden,
Yeah, and that was
the little small, tiny pot ones, right?
Yeah. And then that was probably a year and a half ago, and now I'm up to what, 6 lights already. So I'm kind of jumping the gun. I'm doing everything everyone says not to do. But my main problem right now is I have plenty. I would call them successful grows because I went from beginning to end. Feel like I didn't have too much problems. I cropped, everything was great. But now the problem I'm having that all 3 of my tents are having the same issues. They're probably a month into flower, and I'm seeing the pistils going amber on me. And I searched the tents, and I can't find any Hermes because they're all fem seeds. And I searched for Hermes, I can't find it. And one tent's in a different location from the other 2. So it's kind of weird that all 3 are having the same issue, which is
what's the issue again?
The pistils, like the white pistils, they're turning amber way too early. Like, and
that's
the only
okay.
thing when I look,
that's okay.
That's okay. It's just bringing up. Oh yeah, it's okay. It's just building up sugars and oils up into your flowers. You're maturing.
Yeah, it's and the hairs is and everyone fucking call me on this as much as you want. I have realized that the hairs are one thing to pay attention to, but they're not at all in any level what you should pay attention to on like the maturity or like the range or any of that. You guys say pay attention to the trichomes and the plant deficiencies and toxicities and health. Like if you pay attention to that, you're always going to be, I don't want to say always, don't use all tomatoes, but normally most of the time you will be able to gauge when's the right time to harvest that plant.
Yeah.
So does that make sense?
Yeah, like because usually when it's about to be when I feel like it's ripening up, all the white pistils turn amber. They all go amber, but I've never seen they go amber this early. And then
Mike,
when I Google it,
did you use a foliar spray or anything?
Oh
no foliar, and you know it's funny because it's happening to me early, and the only different thing I'm doing now is I changed the food. I'm using the Athena nutrient line.
I hate that line. God.
Oh man.
So I fucking hate that line.
And you know, I'm using it because
I've already seen a couple grows off of it. It's just like if you go to their website, they have the big football pictures on it, and you always tell when their chemist is nuking with phosphorus because it always creates a football experience on the flowers, and it's just, I'm not saying it's just the way they're marketing it, and it's not that picture. I would have never used that picture because any experienced grower would have looked at that and would instantly turn away because it's like they're using like a PK booster like Hulk or Phosphoload or something like that. And yeah, you probably don't need to use it, but it was one of those things that instantly turned me off because I feel like they're cheapening the quality of the product just for yield, and it's not the type of product that is even, it's hard to sell that product nowadays, and so I feel like it's going to cut the growers' feet from underneath them. So
and how about they have a stack too that I'm using that they offer. It's pretty much I think it's kelp extract.
I gotta look at the line closer because do they use lye in their extraction processes? And I'm of course I'm a big microbiology guy, but I could show you pictures actually this year with one of my growers. He was having I couldn't tell if it was a genetic for purple thing or if it was potassium deficiency because the petioles were purpling. And so I had him pull 3 of the plants out, and we gave them a hit of sulfur, a hit of magnesium, Epsom salt, and a hit of 700 parts per million of the Athena line, because that's what that's what we got him off of and got him into the microbiology direction. And the Athena line, the everything started frying on the plant, going all contorted, and it just shows that I had to look at the line and see what chemicals are actually in it, because they definitely don't play well with microbiology. Do you use microbiology in your system?
Yes, I do. I use the recharge.
Okay, so I have to go back and see. This is where I'm being critical, right? And I'm just trying, and in my mind I'm thinking, going back to that question, I'm trying to extract what we can do for you in this upcoming year, as more content gets created. And so I'm trying to extract something that you can be like, Mark, yeah, if you worked on that, that'd be cool. So if we're not getting close to that, to saying, no, Mark, I'd prefer more of this. But using more microbiology with synthetic nutrient lines, I'm thinking that might be.
And this was my problem was that I ordered the Athena line way back, and I was afraid to use it because of it's salt, and I came from pretty much from Fox Farm, so
it's better than Fox Farm.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Fox Farm, and so is my brother. My brother swears by it. So, and the issue was I wanted to use what I had, and what I had was I had the seeds in pots with dirt, and the dirt was Roots Organic. So I let the Roots Organic feed the seeds for about 3 weeks, and then I jumped onto the Athena line. And the Athena line I'm using is the 2-part Athena line. It's just the core and the grow, or you use the core and the bloom. And in the bloom additive, you can use the stack. And all that line is basically for the rock wool cubes. You're supposed to run that hydroponically. And I've been running it on with dirt. That might be an issue too, right?
Absolutely, 100%. And Dave, I don't know if Dave's there, but Dave and Mike, we were. It's funny. Mike's testing out Green Planet right now. It's one of the nutrient lines we're testing, and I think he was testing the cocoa line with his plants, right? You're testing the cocoa with the Green Planet, and then Dave brought up, he was like, no, that's for cocoa, not for soil. And then there are these things where, when you have a humic layer, it's holding on to stuff. And then when you're in a hydroponic system, 100% water, it's not going to be doing the same type of chemistry. So they're probably going to do something slightly different. If it's in cocoa, if a chemist is probably going to do something different with that too, and Mike, help me get the story straight. Aren't you using?
See, what was happening is I was using dry amendments from another company. I don't really want to mention the name. And I was transitioning over. And my friend Dave said, listen, Mike, if you use certain products, you're going to kill the microbiology in your soil. And then I reached out and I found out that Dave was right. At the dosage I wanted to use, I would have killed everything out. But as I dialed down my dosage, and is needed, use certain products. And there's some products of Green Planet that I really like that are in core of what I'm doing.
Actually, I agree. There is about 5 or 6 products that are pushing that I will be bringing on. Okay, so I think that's if we could do that this year.
Sorry, guys, I was going to the bathroom, so can you catch that?
No, it's okay.
Yeah, that will be my ideal situation, because I'm so used to the bottles because, like I said, when I first came on, it was probably about 10 years ago, and that's all there was. There was nothing but bottles. There was no like dry amendments or anything. So now when I walk into the hydro store, I see these young guys picking up the down to earth boxes of the sea kelp meal or the alfalfa meal. They're making their own blends, and I'm like, wow, I feel like I'm left out because I'm still in the bottles. So that's kind of my goal right now is I kind of want to work more with the microbes and probably start working with the dry amendments and get off the bottles.
Get off the crack. I know.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mark,
Way to go.
Mark, do you mind as I jump into my little fucking story with my trip on the
please.
Okay.
I'm just hanging out with you guys.
So,
guys,
you know, I've been growing commercially for dispensary, and I've been growing for about 25 years for the gray market. Okay, so I've been doing this long before I was licensed. Now I'm a licensed grower, so screw you all.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, to my story was when I started growing, you didn't really need a lot of stuff. You need a shovel and some seeds, and we started off that way. And I got back from Europe, and in Europe we were using some dry sterilizers, but nothing crazy. But when I got back to Canada in the late 90s, everybody was on the 2 parts, 3-part bottle nutrients and that. So, and I believed in the miracle juice. I thought really somebody was going to sell some fucking juice in a bottle that I can put on my plant and it's going to do everything for me, right? Well,
absolutely.
Guys, it doesn't exist. And because of my nature and my age, my maturity, the way I was growing, the bottle nutrients, I wasn't paying attention to all the details. So I was getting sometimes some success, sometimes not. Pop into this summer, I find a video on Mark's deficiencies and all this stuff. I decide to drop I saw the videos. It was the first time I was aware that was a difference between a synthetic sterilizer, organic, and the whole line. For Mark's deficiency videos, I wasn't aware of any of this, even though I was growing for such a long time. So I decided to go with a Canadian company with dry amendments. And then I started running into Mark because I had a grasshopper problem. We solved that. Mark got one look at my garden outside and said, hell, you're not no first grower. You know, and for some reason Mark thought I was the only one growing here. And here I had 1,465 plants in the backyard, right? But for Mark thought I had one a couple plants. Anyway, so we solved that problem. I started doing the organics, really liked it. But then I realized I never wanted to go back on the bottle, but then I realized when you're growing indoors, you can use bottle nutrients in certain applications and they will complement your organic growing. Now, if you want to go completely organic living soil, well, that's like a whole different thing. So where I like it, I like to start off with an organic, healthy soil. And when my nutrients are depleted later on in the cycle, I will supplement with bottle nutrients. And that's the style of growing that I'm personally looking at right now. And I'm looking at a little hydroponics. So
yeah, I feel like the bottle nutrients it's so much cheaper too.
Actually, it isn't.
It is and it isn't. It is cheaper on a cost per gallon ratio. Like when you really knuckle down on it, like I think it does beat dry amendments a little bit. Go ahead.
Mark, if you take me in for example, okay, last year Pro Mix, because I wasn't reusing my soil. That was a new practice I started doing this year. The Pro Mix, all the sterilizer was $3,000 a year per greenhouse, and I brought it down with you to $600 with the dry amendments and the worm castings and all the natural manure that I already had on the farm. So,
but that was my point. It's the cost of paying for the STD and the divorce after that's more expensive. Okay, yeah. So I'm just gonna throw that one out there. And Johnny, I want to go back to autoflowers, but I do want to bring this video up. Mike sent me this video, and later this year, I don't know if I talk about this list I have. I have this incredible master list where that I built out that shows worldwide every single place that starts veg or goes into flowering on the exact day. And I've been using this close for maybe a decade now. But this year, I started collecting more videos because now I'm back into a centralized location where I can oh, that's an interesting video. And so Mike sent me this video and I uploaded it on my channel. So, but I'm just going to play it in the background. And I wanted to show you guys this, and you can't hear the audio, so I'm just going to explain what you're what's seen. But he was using urea-based fertilizers, if I remember straight, in the beginning of his grow.
Miracle Grow on one side and Gaia Green on the other.
And he's going to come back exactly. And Mike, maybe you describe this. You describe the video as we're going it because it's your story. Sorry about that.
But no, you. But anyway, you can.
No,
So-
well, yeah, keep going. No, I want you to.
So
It
basically,
blew
what
my
we're
mind.
looking at here are all the same genetics. It's thus a test bed with natural soil, the same soil. But on one side, I amended with Gaia Green. This is very late in the season. This is just before harvest. The cold weather that I had already set in. That's why you get the deep purples. But you can really see the difference from the organic side and the synthetic side. The synthetic side, I got a little bit more buds, but they were a lot smaller. And the this on this side, we're looking at the organic side right now. See how the green is more. Everything was supercharged with phosphorus. It took longer to bud, but I got more bud at the end of the year. And
Wow.
That looks awesome.
And
You
these
guys
plants
see
are
the
every
difference,
50
right?
tall.
You do see the difference on this, right?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
And I'm not going to tell you, oh, we have to do this whole thing. I'm giving you this as an example.
Okay,
And
so we're coming to the end. Okay. To back it up again. So now right behind me is the organic side, and on the left would be of the screen would be the synthetic, and you can really see the color. You can see the difference.
we'll let the video play. I think it does pop out a little bit more. Okay, right there.
There you go.
There.
Stop there. So now I'm
Oh,
in
wow.
front of the organic side. See all the yellowing, the deficiencies. The flower has matured, but it never matured as big as the organic side.
And tell me which side. Tell me once again. Point out so right here on your left side on the
Okay, so
screen
now we're
is
looking at one side because this is a big bed. So now we're looking at the synthetic fertilizers.
on the left side, right?
Well, right behind me is the salt-based fertilizer, Miracle Grow.
Okay, the ones that are already purple.
Yeah,
And the ones that are still green
are the organic.
okay. So now I want to just point something out there to you because were they all harvested at the same time?
Yeah, I did it on that Saturday. Remember? I
Okay,
harvested.
absolutely. No, the reason I just want to pull information out with you, but I don't want to say the story. I want to make sure everyone hears the story directly from your own lips. Okay,
So anyway,
you
I
go-
decided to let this go as far as I can, and that came out to about the 12th of October before I started to see the first bud rot. The first bud rot showed up on the Miracle Grow side. The bud rot didn't transfer until the 22nd of October, when I finished harvesting everything.
And okay, so pointing out a couple things that might already be obvious, might not be obvious, but I just kind of just want to point out a few things. So this purpling is atherosclerosis. No, not atherosclerosis. No, that's something else. It's atherosclerosis, and which is sugar buildup in the leaves. So it's a phosphorus deficiency. Okay, and this other side is not going through as many deficiencies yet. And so I do want to be very clear and open and honest. He actually got more resin production off of the purple side, if I remember straight, than off of the green side. And I want to be very open and clear. And everyone's like, oh man, I thought organics was the line. But I do want to point something out though. These plants didn't completely mature.
They did.
And he had to cut him down because of his growing environment. But it does bring something up very clearly, that these bacteria are able to hold off of a lot of things outside of like that synthetic fertilizer. For some reason, it destroys the fences, right? And this is why also I don't mean to get into the whole pandemic situation, but I think putting all these chemicals on our skin to clean our skin is making us more like this purple side. And if we have bacteria on our skin and we're actually going out and playing in dirt and being like normal again, our body looks more like the green side. And yes, there was less resin production, but I think it was because he had to chop down because of and you'll see, and I'll show you this right here. And this is the power of this Excel spreadsheet when you start to use it on a strategic basis. So you see right here, you see the longitude latitudes, and you go over and you see veg time starts in May. And then you see the sunrise. And this Excel spreadsheet is what made me become a flat earther, because I tracked all this shit.
Oh, let's not go there, Mark.
I know, but I tracked this shit and I was just like, holy fuck. But anyways, then you see the sunsets and you go down over here, but you start to see the temperatures that in May, what the temperatures are. So again, it's really cold still in May, but you could probably get out there sooner if you have a cover crop, so that's how I recommend people. I say, should you invest in something? Should you put the extra energy into this? And if you did this, it might do this, right? And then, but the humidity is pretty high, but it's okay because it's in veg time. You can still combat it. If you're using organic shield, I realize that it's also a fungicide pesticide, but then you go over further and you see the August, so you see when it starts to flower, but then you go over further and you see the temperatures in the 80s. So you're like, okay, flower temperatures are really great. And then you go over further and you start to see as it drops off, it's shit. Basically, you realize you start to see the temperatures as they drop off. And that's my point to all this, is that Mike, yes, if these plants were allowed to mature, I think they would have done a much better job. I guess that's my point to, I don't know why we got into this conversation. Sorry about that, guys.
I got a question about the bud rot. Did you get the bud rot on the organic or the synthetic side of that crop you have?
I thought it started on the synthetic side first. The organic was very, very resistant to bud rot, the freeze. I left the organic side continued growing another week past the synthetic side.
Wow, that's amazing. I had one out here, and I, believe it or not, I put it in Vigoro dirt. You guys, that Home Depot stuff, Vigoro dirt.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's just a bag of dirt. It's called Vigoro. They sell it at Home Depot. It's like Miracle Grow's cousin, and it grew amazingly. But at the very end, it had caught bud rot, and a week, I would say probably a week before it caught bud rot, I was looking at it and there was this little caterpillar on it, and I flicked it off. And then a week later, I get bud rot on the same branch where I saw the caterpillar. So I started researching it, and it was I believe it was a corn worm or something like that, and that actually caused the bud rot. And I don't know if maybe if I would have used, if it was organic, it would have kept the pest away, or maybe I would have used the net. But now I'm absolutely afraid of outdoors.
Well, no. So basically, you shouldn't be afraid to be going outdoors because you have access to all of us, right? And we've seen it, done it, and been there 3 times already. So basically, what happened was when the insect damaged your leaf, it gave a pathway for your bowel to go in. And we would have been in contact together, I would have said, let's do a little pH treatment just before the mold season comes. Get rid of all, sterilize the plant, and give it a chance. Doesn't mean we wouldn't have got mold, but we would have pushed it back maybe just far enough to get a nicer harvest,
he just hit it that you just right there, Mike. Like,
yeah, we hang out together. It's our normal, right?
Preventive made and it's like this. It's like, and how much do you think I'm seeing of my hand right now? Right? Like, seriously.
Yeah.
And then if
Nothing.
you're nothing, right? And then you have 5 or 6 other fucking people over here that are this right here, other people, and they're like, hey, Mike, you might want to think about doing that. You know, like, oh, okay, that's a good idea. And then, or vice versa. So it's just, when you're by yourself, you see one perspective. When you're, and I'm not trying to convince you to be like, I'm just saying, being in a community and you're have the ability to like share shit and all that, it does someone sees a different perspective, you know. And
oh yeah, I'm
yeah.
lost over here because I'm up I would say northeast, you know, so it's very different out here. So I have no one to bounce back ideas with. The only person I do work with is my brother. So it's just mainly me, him, and Google. And Google will, it's just like anything, like it's gonna tell me I'm always dying, or it's always gonna tell me my plants are dying. It's horrible. But now that I found
$2.99 for $2.99, you can join Perfect Gardens.
No, absolutely. I've been. Well, I'm
Don't
not
forget,
too
you get to be part of an army.
Yeah, I'm not too tech savvy. I don't know exactly how to do it.
Hit the join button on the YouTube video.
But it also, I actually should bring that up, but not to push down that. But seriously, to bring that up, if you can't find the join button, I created a workaround where I'll send you another link, and then you can go through that link, sign up, but you still don't get access to membership videos, because there's like a YouTube platform, and I did a workaround, but you can still get access to the Telegram group. But you know, I'm not gonna go into depth, but Perfect Gardens is gonna be coming out with, I hope not to say a badass app, but a motherfucking badass app, you know.
It's a badass app, man. To call it what it is.
It is. And so our alpha version is probably going to come out in about 2-3 months, which is going to solve. It'll be an alpha version. So probably in like a year from now, it will actually have some real amazing functions and technical like fixes to a lot of these things that you're talking about right now. So yeah,
because I'm still, I don't know what Telegram is or exactly how to get on it, but
Telegram,
I'm gonna figure it out.
It's pretty simple. It's just another social platform that's reserved to our members, where at any time of the day, like we got members in Australia, the Australia boys will answer you at 4 o'clock in the morning, or the California guys will answer you, or I'm on the East Coast in Quebec. So, you know, we got people everywhere. So it's always alive. The page is always alive.
There's always somebody.
I wake up right now and there's anywhere from 250 to 400 posts at times. And I wake up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's some crazy shit.
You go for a couple of hours away, and there's like, you can't answer everything, right? But there's always a helpful member. And then, you know, you can get somebody's opinion is not sure, then another member will weigh in. But at the end of the day, you'll get the right answer.
And you get used to it. You get used to it over time. You get used to tagging people and following back threads and doing other stuff. And there's, you know, you get used to it. It takes a little time, but if you watch it and you hang out and just try not to get overwhelmed. I got overwhelmed. I got overwhelmed, but now I've learned how to use the technology. So I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, since I got you guys right now, I just want to make sure I'm clear. Just continue with this Athena line, right? Because I pretty much got a month to go. And
yeah, don't change anything.
Yeah, and then the pistols turning amber on me, just don't worry about it, right?
If you got a month to go, you shouldn't be. I mean, they should be turning amber, I would think, with a month to go. They shouldn't be close. Yeah.
Start changing. Mine are changing. You want to look at mine? I'll give you an example here.
I think I know what he's talking about. They're like probably a dark amber changing color, like even to the point where it's frying, right?
Listen, I don't think this is monetized, right? We control
Yeah,
different
no,
things.
we're just having fun.
We're hanging out, right?
But
So
I can
is
see
there
your
any
plants in the
other,
corner.
is there any
these are
other
tomatoes.
deficiencies? Is there any
Oh.
other deficiencies happening on your leaves or toxicities right now?
But believe it or not, I using this Athena line, I've seen the least deficiencies ever. I think the Athena line for me has ran the most smoothest, especially with needing CalMag and raw and all that. It for me, I feel like Athena, just for me, it was way easier. I feel like it went way better. But it's except this is the only time I've seen these darker amber pistils so early. So and what worried me was my brother. My brother, I have one tent that's probably 2 weeks away right now. So I would say about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, he was taking a couple of the bottom buds and ripping it up because he was 100% convinced that we had a hermia in there, got pollinated and all this. So he was taking apart the buds and he was finding these little balls that looked like seeds. And he's telling me, he's like, this is seeds. And I'm looking at him. To me, it doesn't look like a seed. It's more like, looks like something's growing, you know?
Yeah, it looks like in between, but you'll get little pods. As it has one hair, it's female, right? It doesn't mean it's a male.
But he's talking about pods in the
done the same
flower.
fucking mistake. I've been there. I've seen that too. First time I saw little pods on the indicas, then I think, oh shit, I got a male, but it wasn't a male. It was just like it had a female pixel on it, so I knew it was a female.
No, like he actually took the bud off the plant and broke the bud up.
Exactly. It's in the bud. I've seen this a number of times. It's a I want to call it a deformity. I've also seen it at I got to see pictures, but it could be seeding, but I get what you're saying. They're not mature seeds and they're not hermaphrodites, but when you feel it, it's hard, like it's an immature seed possibly.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I know. And I think, and I've seen it more as in a deformity in these plants, like an unstable genetic trait. I don't know everything. I go through observation. I know what you're talking about. I've seen it many times, but I don't know exactly what it is. And I'm gonna just mention, guys, there is a link in the Zoom. I mean, it's in this description. If you guys want to jump on, please give me another person because I'm not going to hold the same people on. I just did this just as a hangout for people. If I don't get a new one, I will jump off. I'm not trying to threaten you guys, but I do want to see. I do want to get meet more people.
Is this smart? Yeah. Is the link open to everybody on?
It's open to everyone right now. Yeah, I finally gave it to you.
Yeah. Mike. So listen, guys, is anybody that's new to the channel that wants to meet me, Mark, or Dave, and Johnny, all the core members and some of the other panels, come on up, come and say hi. We're here, so it's Christmas.
It was kind of hard for me to get on. I had to do it like 5 or 6 times to hit the link to get it to come on.
Me too. I had a little bit of problems too.
Let me try to fix this. See, you guys got to complain to me. Tell me.
See, I thought it was just me, that I wasn't doing something right, but
no.
But guys, if you enjoy this and you think it's cool that like we do a live feed, our videos are very appreciated. We do a live feed. We're probably going to go on Duckstream or another platform because it's more it's easier to manage all the guests and we can control.
Okay, I'm deleting all of the stuff in the description and only putting in the Zoom link. So in the description now, in the video will be on there, and it'll only be the Zoom link.
Well, I found it on the live chat.
I put it in 2 places now, so hopefully it makes it a little better. But
you pinned it on the top of the live chat.
I put it all over the place. I'm desperate right now. I'll be the first to fucking say it. I'm fucking desperate.
So
no,
yeah, come
kidding.
on in,
I'm just
guys.
joking.
Don't be shy. We're all friends here, and I'd glad to meet you.
I want to go back to the autoflower though, real quick, because it's been keeping me up at night. Ever since we came to the realization that, or for me, that if the seed is disturbed, it dwarfs, and this is something I see continuously. but then the reach in my mind is like, okay, well, how do you plant the seed in a 7-gallon or 10-gallon pot and let it grow from there, right? And to the point where there's not all this excess of water in the rest of your pot that starts to create a poor soil environment that could allow bugs and mold and all this other stuff to or not mold but bugs to settle in, like fungus gnats specifically. And does this make sense what I'm talking about specifically?
Yeah,
that's
okay. So
yeah.
I've been really thinking about this a lot. And I've been thinking, okay, well, I think what we have to do is, and you're going to start to see more of how Jason pops his seeds, but he starts them off in Dixies because they're photos. But I think what we might end up needing, because also we need to pre-cook the soil too, right? Because pre-cooking the soil, and also we have to leave room to put in a top layer of soil that's amended with more of a flowering mix, so that can get watered in without ever really disturbing the seed, so it could, and planning for it so it can grow into its maturity and then flower out. Does that make sense? So
yeah, I've never had them reaching maturity, and they just it's always something else that I cause them to stunt. I don't know. It's never anything in the soil that like stops them from growing. Like everybody I've seen,
mineral deficiency could stress them out too.
Well, that's
too much. Like we have access to Av, right? And Av told us straight out, Mike, is you want to do autoflowers, it's half the nutrients. And these plants take half the water. They've held this strain. They come from the Middle East where the soil is poor, but they don't have a lot of water. And then we're bringing them here. And we're dumping them in these super rich soils with too much water. And, it's a different way of growing from our photos. And that's what I'm coming to realize. But
Johnny, I don't mean to cut you off. I want you to finish your thought after this. Keep going, Mike.
Did I cut you off? Sorry, Johnny, I have a big mouth. Sorry.
You're right.
No, I did.
So anyway, that's what I come to realize. And now what I do like about the autoflowers is I like to grow them as an in-between crop, right? Because I can keep them when I'm vegetating in my tent. And then when they get a little too big, I can drop them off in the big room. And I can leave them in between plants. And they're off season, so I always have something to harvest. I'll always have something to show to produce content with. And then, like, once this harvest is done, I'm doing 5 new strains from, I'm starting over from scratch with 5 new strains. And in between, I'll be doing 4 or 5 autoflower strains at the same time. So that's what I find very convenient.
So, Johnny, going to finish your thought, but I wanted to kind of go back through this thought process because it literally has been keeping me up at night, and I want to exercise it. So, and then you guys get some feedback. I'd love to share it. Keep going with your thoughts, please.
I've seen some other people on YouTube that are growing them, and they'll grow big, giant, massive flowers, and I'm like, and a lot of times they're force feeding them bottles, and it's just, and I haven't seen anybody do it like organically grow a big, giant plant. They've all been maybe 2 feet tall, if that. Which to me, it don't bother me. I don't, I like the short plant anyway. But if I'm only allowed 4 plants in Virginia, so a little tiny plant doesn't, it doesn't take, it takes up too much time and space for that. I want to be able to get more yield out of 1 plant than, an ounce or an ounce and a half of. It's just not. If I could grow 12 of them, that would be fine, but it just don't cut it for me.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep going. I appreciate that too. I want to get this out because literally I want to go to sleep at night. Sorry, but okay. So, but and Banger iPhone, hang out as long as you want. Jump on, jump off, throw your opinions in. Please don't just hang out like you feel like to be there, because I know it's like when I gotta get off the phone. Like you can get off whenever you want, but you can also hang out and talk. So these autoflower plants. So we're talking about if it's if the seed gets stressed out at any point, and for autoflower plants for outdoors, I've seen 3 foot, 5 foot plants of like for autos, like big ones as well, like huge outdoor grow plants. I'm like, okay. And it was the realization about the seed being stressed out. And also Jason, talking about how he watches the leaves, they droop right when the root, and that's how he knows when to transplant, because it hits the wall of the pot, or it hits the air pruning of the 1 or 3 or 4 or 5 gallon, and that's how he knows when to keep upgrading his pot, right? So that means also right when the root hits the wall, or right when the root hits the air pruning, that's stress. So that meant sensing the flower. And yeah, I've been thinking about this like real hardcore. So I've been thinking like, okay, how do we fucking grow these autoflower plants indoor to max out their yield to the best of their ability? And so I've been, without like creating an environment for fungus gnats and mold and all these other things, and while also pre-cooking our soil with an excellent veg mix, but also trying to use up as much calcium as possible and other things, and then adding in a top layer langonite, while also giving other amendments, you know, so it's a right mix. So this is that thought process. Is like, I think we have to, and I think it came down to the watering. The other day, that video we made about the watering, it kind of was this aha moment for me. I was like, okay, maybe this we can do it. So we have to, I think we have to start them in 10-gallon size pots to maximize, right? Because right when the roots hit that side, and that's within 3 weeks, that's how fast these roots will grow. Right when they hit it, I think they go into flowering. So we have to, the bigger size pot is going to be important. But then also we take consideration, if we pre-mix the soil, and we pre-mix it too much or too fast, it's going to become nutrient available too much for the plants initially, because I've seen it too many times. Too much with the microbes, it makes it too bioavailable, and it fries the plants, even the seedlings, with using dry amendments. So in a sense, we kind of have to make this environment where initially that initial soil in the beginning, right when the seed's growing into it, and also kind of layering the soil as it. So we're in my mind, I'm thinking we have to pre-cook this soil, probably not for 3 weeks, but probably for 2. So it becomes pretty bioavailable. So because we don't want to make it nutrient deficient, because I think that could also stress out the plant and send it into flowering earlier. And then what we have to do is have that core soil that's been pre-cooking for 3 weeks. And then we put that into the center, and then we put that seed in. But in that core center of that soil, I think we have to make sure that's moist and do a top feed around there. But then the soil around it is not dry, but it's also kind of dried back. And then how we get that going is we initiate a bottom feed, a bottom watering. And so when we do initiate the bottom watering, a nice long, it will take an hour or 2 to really soak in that soil. And so right when we transplant, put that seed in, we're not over watering, right? And so that seed starts to pop, it starts to grow, and we're slowly watering out that center, while trying to keep that soil around it drier than wetter, if that makes sense. So we're not trying to bring in the fungus gnats and other issues, because it's going to normally be a bigger issue for a lot of growers. And then within like a week or 10 days, we initiate a bottom water. And then that makes everything really bioavailable, because the water is really going to bring the microbes to life. And that as the roots go into that soil. And I think that's how we maximize the autoflower in indoors, if that makes sense, with pre-cooked soil. And then
it does. I thought of that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I was introduced to the autopot systems. In the autopot systems, they put a layer of brown stone on the bottom, and then they put a cloth vapor to keep your medium from separating, and then I put Vagnamite on top, so the roots have some phosphorus and monomium when it goes through it to feed the plants. So, and it keeps my soil, my living soil, from leaching into the watering system. Now, that way, that's what I'm thinking of doing for my next harvest, is modifying all my pots with a layer of brownstones and that whole thing that they're using in the autopot system. But I'll only be doing a leaching out of some trays and not a closed system with valves and that. So I'll be watering from the top. I'll have a good place for my runoff. The runoff will run into the stones. It'll give a good reserve for moisture, and then I'll still be able to water it from the bottom. So I will be able to avoid all the dry spots. This is something I was thinking about doing on my next run. So
I appreciate it.
So it
What size
ties into
pipe do you use?
10 gallons.
10 gallons.
Yeah, I should go to 15 actually, but I don't have it.
What size were you talking about, Mark? What size were you talking about?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm trying to take in consideration maximizing an autoflower plant, but also take into consideration every time when a stress could be induced into that process, which will signal the plant into flowering. Do you get what I'm saying?
Last time I grew them, I grew them in 5-gallon grow bags, and the roots touched everywhere, sides and bottom.
Minimum 10, I would say minimum 10 with this thought process. And then, you know, I would let, because this is just me trying to play around, have some experiments, right?
Mark, is you take this variable into, say I was using the autopot system that's a 3-gallon pot, but it's always getting water and nutrients when it needs it. Will it still root lock? Will it still do the same effect? Will it still stress out?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100. So I think every single time it hits the wall, hits something, because Jason really, and we're documenting this, and we're going to show this on video soon. We're documenting it where you'll see the leaf. It goes like this and is growing straight, and then it goes like this. And then when you cut the stem, when you cut it off, you see the root. It just, I mean, he's so laser sharp. It just hit the wall. It hasn't even bent. It just hit it. You look close. It's the root tip just hit it, and the leaf is straight, and it goes.
I noticed that with my leaves. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was just, you know, they were at that point. But it was about that time where they had gotten to that size where they were about that time where they hit the sides of the pot, and that's crazy. That's,
you know what? I'm gonna put that there too. In fact, I got an empty auto pot. I'm gonna drop some autoflower seeds in it, and we're gonna see what happens. You know, and I'm gonna do 2 different size pots, and we'll have a control and a bigger one.
Ooh, we just got a new person in. So
who's that?
We'll see right now. Oh, hey, a woman, our first woman. That's really cool. Let's be very professional, please.
We always are.
Oh, wait, no, it wasn't. I'm sorry. Amber. It was not a woman. I apologize on that.
Hello.
Hey, brother,
Hey,
how
Amber,
you doing?
You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we hear you.
Oh, what's up? I just want to say I love you guys' channel. And yeah, I saw that mushroom farm video, bro. That shit was dope. So you know, it's like after that shit. So
yeah, how did you get started growing? Merry Christmas.
So I got started growing. My grandparents are the first generation Italians off the boat, so we always grew shit. So I started. My first memories are in the garden with my grandparents, tomatoes and shit, and all kinds of stuff like that. And then when I started smoking weed when I was like 12, you know, obviously I started getting interested in growing cannabis. So I live in New York, so I hope the feds aren't watching because it's not technically legal to grow here. But
don't worry about it.
I gotta jump start on. So you want to see the garden real quick?
Sure. Yeah.
Sure,
Flip your
okay,
you can actually on your camera. There's a little on the top left. You can hit your camera and flip it around, so it's you don't have to like flip your camera. So it's just the front camera.
So you can see what you're filming. It'll make it easier.
You can see what you're filming.
Oh.
So you're using the back facing camera. So you just go like hit the bottom scroll button, and then you'll have your screen. And there's
You tricked me. You tricked me, Amber. If that's your girlfriend,
Oh,
I,
no, that's my girlfriend. Sorry.
you're a lucky man. You're a
So
lucky man.
I've got two daughters, so we have pop-up blockers on our phone. So I tried to join on my phone and it wouldn't let me. So I'm like, yo, give me your phone real fast. They're about to start falling asleep after the Christmas festivities.
I-
I can't figure.
I'm
So
really
now
proud
just
that
turn
you
off
have
your
a.
camera. That'll turn off your camera. So what you want to do is double click your screen until the icon on the right corner turns on. You'll see it'll be up. You see the bottom bar with all the options, and you'll see one
No,
icon.
it's just little buttons. I'm
All
not
right.
good at this newfangled. Oh, sorry. I'll just go in there and show you one time real quick, just so you can get a
Okay.
peek
Okay,
of what's
sure.
going on.
Yeah, it screws me
Hold
around
on.
too.
It gets me.
Remember what? Amber. Well, Scurry, what is your name? We're not going to call you Amber. Right?
Zach, sorry.
Zach. Okay.
Zach. So I'm usually in the chat as Zach Gleese.
Zach.
And the
Oh,
only reason
hey.
why my full name is up there is because I'm not good with computers. So I really hope the FBI is not watching.
Hey, it doesn't matter. We're all legal now.
Yeah,
Well,
we gotta just flood the system. That's the key. You flood the system. It's
No doubt. The next thing's psilocybin, right? I mean, it's time
Yeah.
to just flood the system with spores as much as possible. I mean, they can't catch us all, right?
exactly.
Not
They
organized.
yeah, there's
We're an army,
there's
you know.
they're super busy with all the other shit, I think, right now. It's like
Yeah, I would say so too. So I don't know if you can get a good view. Let me see.
there's a lot of people not wearing masks. So they got to arrest those people first.
See what the problem
So
is?
you kind of see a little bit.
You have your
Oh,
back.
I kind of see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't figure out how do I turn the background off.
Okay,
Oh,
listen.
wait.
I'm gonna walk you. I'm
No.
gonna walk you through it. Okay.
Okay,
You hit
let's
the
do it.
center bar. You hit your three little dots on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you're gonna go to more.
Son of a bitch. Oh, more. Here we go. Yeah.
Okay, and then you're gonna see option. I just screwed myself up. You'll see appearance, and then you can take off effect, and you click none.
Oh, crap.
Background effect. It should say background effect.
Background and filters, none.
Yes,
There we go.
there you go. You're on it. Okay. Okay.
All right,
Now,
so-
so listen,
Yeah.
just so we can all see, right? Now,
Yeah.
double click anywhere on your screen, and your icon for the camera should appear anywhere, like down on the bottom, anywhere on the screen. Okay, and then on your, it should say like live. You should see a speaker and a little camera with an arrow going in a circle. A little camera.
No.
Anywhere.
Just stop video, share.
No.
Hey,
okay.
Merry Christmas, everyone out there. I see all
Listen.
your messages
Sorry,
come in.
So
hell
when you just
waits.
hit anywhere on your screen, right? Don't pay attention to the bottom part of your screen. It'll be up on the right hand corner, right beside where it says live. Or when actually,
It's going to just flip the camera around.
Oh, wait,
Let's
there
just,
we go. Is that it?
Oh,
There you
great.
go.
Oh, nice. Love it.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm not seeing it. Come on.
So
I got it.
I've got an AC Infinity 4x4 with AC Infinity T-Series 4-inch inline fan. I've got two Mars Hydro SP3000s, and then just your basic humidifier. Sorry. So right now I'm running autos. So that is Ethos Genetics Upaya. This is an Ethos Genetics Insane in the Membrane. So unfortunately, we're talking about watering, and I just overwatered these plants. So they are recovering right now. So I think I'm in week 5 of these autos. That's Barney's Farm Skywalker OG. That's Dutch Passion Blueberry OG. The one in the back, these three in the back, that one in the center, this one on the right, that's a Snow G from 2020 Mendocino. And then this, I tried to transplant. And right now I'm switching over to all dry organic amendments from Nectar of the Gods. So I use all Nectar of the Gods. I use on the last run, I did the complete comprehensive line from Nectar of the Gods. So it was just time consuming. I wouldn't say it's any more expensive than any other bottled nutrient line. It is mostly organic. There's one product they have that is a non-organic form of calcium that's used as a carrier. So
How did it turn out for you?
oh, it was fucking fire. It was fire. Honestly, I bought those seeds from a head shop. Once New York legalized, this head shop started carrying some seeds. So it was a Jack Herrera. What the fuck was it? It was a cross. It was a Dark Angel from Croc King Seeds. So it ended up coming out fire, man. Super gassy. I'm smoking on it now. So super stoked about it. I'm happy I found your guys' channel because although I love the Nectar for the Gods line, it grows really good cannabis. It's time consuming, and it is a little bit more expensive. So I'm in the process of switching over to all dry organic nutrients.
How many bottles you got of that Nectars of the Gods?
I think all in total, there's 18 bottles, and they've actually just came out with like 3 new products. So probably like 19 now.
Whew.
Yeah, and it's a lot, but it's honestly, and people are going to be like, oh, that's bullshit. I would never use it. It's fucking ridiculous, which it is. But if you watch any of the, Oregon's Constant Gardener, OCG Farm, that's the Nectar for Gods channel. If you watch them, the owner of Nectar for the Gods will tell you only need to run 4 bottles.
Yeah,
you need to run 4 bottles with the nectar. Medusa, Gaia, Herculean Harvest, and then you run their Olympus Up, which is their pH Up, because that pH Up is a liquid limestone product which carries calcium. It also helps buffer the soil.
But of course, you had to buy more than just the 4.
Well, just my compulsive brain didn't allow me.
I know. It's the same way with my dry amendments. You just, I'm in there. I'm another box. I might as well check this.
Well, hey, look,
out.
I mean, you see this? You see that little tiny fucked up plant right there? Well, I just couldn't help myself after I had amended it, and then I'm like, all right, I added a couple too many things, and bam, my shit's fucked. And I've been doing this, not growing cannabis specifically, but I've been growing plants, as long as I can remember. And look, I still fuck it up. So, everybody fucks it up from time to time, right?
No, you didn't fuck it up. You care, okay?
Right.
And
No doubt.
and that's what you do. You care, and you're creating this connection to life. I know you have kids. I know you have a wife. I know you have parents. I know you have brothers and all those other things, but it's just a different attachment to life, and you care, right? And it's, and you're gonna do something. You're gonna buy an extra jacket, for your kids. You're gonna buy an extra pot for your kids. I mean, the plants and all so on. So it's understandable.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I don't know. I think there's something special. There's always been something about planting a seed and watching it grow. And then, in the vegetable realm, it's like, then you get to feed your family. And then once you have kids, and I love to cook, and there's a gentleman earlier before that was saying the same thing. It's the satisfaction that you get when you plant it yourself, harvest it yourself, cook it yourself, and then your family eats it. It's special, right? I mean, so 4 years ago, I moved to the house that I'm in now to start a sustainable vegetable farm, CSAs, the whole thing. I got into organic farming probably like super heavy. I got back into it like 7 years ago, right? Started getting into all this stuff. I wasn't smoking. I had stopped smoking cannabis for a while, about 7 years. So I got back into gardening, and I actually moved to Attica, New York, to start an organic farm. And just life getting in the way, by trade, I'm a carpenter. So, just life getting in the way and shit. I couldn't afford it, so, and then before I knew it, cannabis was finally legalized in New York State. And I was like, oh, I've been waiting to grow weed since fucking 1997. I could never do it before, man.
It's
very exciting.
It's just reconnecting to something that, was taken away from you, that we kind of always, it's really interesting what you're drawn to in life. It's just really, I don't know what it's like, what you think, it's like what I go back to MK Ultra. It's like what they try to force in your brain, but then when you're given time to ground yourself, and you're given time to just step away for a while and collect yourself and find yourself, it's like what's going to gravitate back into your life that you should have been connected with in the beginning.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. It's incredible. It's an incredible medicine. Like I touched on before, the cannabis is incredible. The fact that it's getting legalized everywhere, it looks like the cards are falling, you know, and it just opens up areas for other study. Psilocybin, you know, we all know people that have been involved with, you know, the war on terror and who have PTSD from that and many other things. You know, my cousin's been affected. So it's incredible. It's incredible to be a part of that. You know what I mean? Even if it's a small part.
100%.
No doubt. Oh, Mark, thank you for your service, by the way. I mean, I didn't realize you were involved in the military like that until I saw that video. So I just wanted to say thank you for your service.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's a whole lot cheaper to grow it
what
yourself.
happened?
It's a whole lot cheaper to grow it yourself too.
You're going to be our last person we bring on the channel today. And before I let you go, because I'm going to start wrapping up and getting ready for my daughter. But what can we do for you in 2022 so I can keep it in the back of my mind?
You know, honestly, I love your channel. I started watching your channel, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, 7 months ago. The information's great. I think the biggest problem with YouTube is there are a lot of bullshit out there. Okay. You know, I don't know how many times a week I come across a video that's like, this is how to top an autoflower. This is how to top a photo period. And they've topped a photo period one time in their life and they have no idea. You know, like if you don't know it, it's fine, but don't do a tutorial on it. And you guys obviously don't do that. I'm getting at is your guys' information is solid, it's quality. So if you're a new grower, stay with this channel. And that's why I subscribe to your channel, and that's why I paid to join the membership, because I really believe in you guys. For me, I mean, it's going to be a little selfish because it's personal, but I've always had a hard time calculating top dressing amendments, right? So like real quick, I'm going to turn my camera around, but like this is all the amendments that I use.
It's because you're not supposed to top dress amendments that are
right. So like I use a ton of different stuff, right, that I try to put together, and a lot of time I make my top dress too hot, like for those autoflowers, you know, for example. And
you know why we do that?
I'll end up stunting them. What's that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
You know why we do that? Because when we're using dry amendments, we always have to keep in mind that what we're feeding today is what they're going to be eating in 3 weeks.
Right, exactly.
So you always have to be in advance. So when by the time that nutrient breaks down and gets to the root, so you always have, when you're using dry amendments, it's really just a question of timing. It's like me when I'm growing outside at certain points, I'll change over to the 284, or I'll give a second shot of blood meal. You know, it's
right.
And I'll give you something right here. This is something I do with all my growers on this, is I have them mix enough soil that they would finish out. So it's like, okay, if you're going to have 10 gallons, we're mixing up 100 gallons of soil initially. And there's for some really key metrics or key reasons behind this.
Sure.
It's the first reason is that your nitrogen will evaporate away slowly over time, right? So as you're taking your pre-amended soil and you're transplanting into it, that soil, it has less and less nitrogen, and which is what I want, and because it's been evaporated away, and but it also has some, and it has more bioavailable nutrients. So and this is not for autos. This is for photos right now.
Right. Yeah. Because you're
our vegetables, right, Mark? Our vegetables.
Or vegetables. So I'm pre-mixing into bioavailable soil already. So so as I mix into that. So, and then as I do that, I am taking into consideration that if I'm growing in a pot, I am leaving room for, if it does go into a fruiting or flowering stage, depending upon what it is. If it's going into if it's going to have a more of a herb versus a shell, like a tomato has a shell, or squashes have shells, but they're also blooming, right? They're also producing fruit. Same thing with the flowers. They're producing flowers, but I also consider to be fruit, right? So, but they're not a hard shell. So in those situations, I'm going to take in consideration, do I need to have additional calcium, like more additional calcium, which normally when I'm doing that final transplant, it's the bone meal and stuff. And then also that small top layer of soil, I'm taking the pre-amended soil and I'm mixing extra langonite in that, like a week or two prior, letting it pre-cook, so that becomes slightly more bioavailable. So when I put that top layer of soil in, I actually water that in. And so that I don't know if that kind of makes sense, but I'm transitioning into pre-existing soil, and as I'm going more into that soil, it becomes less. The ratio of nitrogen drops because you want a 1-to-1 ratio on nitrogen to phosphorus, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, a 1-to-1 ratio roughly as you go into this. So I'm taking into consideration what I've mixed in. I'm allowing it to evaporate off. I'm then putting my langonite in, so it kind of has its maximum, minimum law of tolerance ratios, with the microbiology kind of like controlling that whole thought, that whole aspect, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So okay, I'm just saying. So I'm never really top mending because it takes too long, and so if I am seeing a deficiency and there's no more room on the top of the soil, I am going back to a liquid bottle nutrient that is like liquid of the gods, or I look for liquid nutrients that's not going to hurt the microbiology.
That's what I was thinking too for deficiencies as well. If I start seeing any deficiencies pop up, I was planning, because I still have quite a bit of the nectar left, so I was just going to use that for deficiencies, so it works great with that. Also, the nectar line is really good for foliar. If you like foliar feedings, all their stuff.
And there's nothing wrong about using some other nutrients with your dry amendments. You can get the both of both worlds. You just have to take into effect that you already have that in your soil. Then you're just complementing with your other organic nutrients or semi-organic.
Sure. All right, absolutely. Josh jumped on. I'm gonna end up letting you go. Josh, you're gonna be my last guy. I appreciate you. Merry Christmas. I'm gonna force all of you guys to bring it back out with the family. So Josh, how you doing, brother?
Good. How about yourself?
Doing good.
Merry Christmas to everybody and your families.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
I got a just quick question. I kind of want to jump in. I'm at beginning to mid flower right now in my 4x4, and I want to start looking into planting for my next grow. And I was kind of wanting to experiment because I mainly deal with autoflowers right now. So if you're interested, I'd like to somehow work with you and experiment with the soil layering.
Yeah, I would honestly just do that $2.99 membership. Like if you don't feel like you're getting enough there, then I do this VIP $50 membership that's more like one-on-one every day. We're interacting every day. Yep. So, but I don't like taking money. I don't mind taking money from people, but I do encourage people to maximize. Less is more, right? Let's start with the trace minerals before we go into more stuff. That $2.99 membership is literally, it plugs you into community, mindset, thought process, and I'm there too. It's just not as much. Yeah. And if you feel like it's not enough, then try the other one.
I've been working with Ken a lot.
Who? Oh, Ken?
Ken's
oh yeah, I love
awesome.
Ken.
I've been working with him a lot. Sure. And the Telegram, he helped me completely turn my garden around.
Oh, you're already a $2.99 membership.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, then just hit me up on the private, and then I would say before you try to do the $50 one, hit me up on a private IM, and if you don't feel like I'm getting back to you responsive enough, because I do get crazy busy, then do the $50 membership. Like, let me see if I could try to fulfill that promise first in what I've tried to at least try to realistically fulfill in that $2 my 99% promise.
But as you're already hooked up with Ken, like you couldn't ask
Ken's
for
awesome.
a better member. Ken is
awesome.
awesome.
Ken's pretty great.
Ken's one of our better members.
I'm using that Nectar of the Gods, the Spartan line. And it was, I think, overnight, my plants started to lean towards all my big leaves and stuff started to lean towards the light. they had that beautiful. So it was literally overnight, my garden saw transformation.
You're cutting out there, bro.
Hey, Josh, it's cutting out a little bit.
Yep, my service is getting pretty bad.
Hey, Josh, we're gonna hook up on the telemark, you know, and we all get to see what everybody's talking about. So
Yeah,
Merry
Josh, hit me up, and then we'll go from there.
All right. Sounds good.
Guys, I appreciate you guys jumping on today. I wanted to hang out with you guys. For people that don't by themselves, whatever, like Mike, me, whatever. Grower's life is a lonely life. Just get used to it. And I appreciate you guys. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Only on Perfect Gardens TV.
Thanks, Mark. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy